everyone, welcome back to another video. So, I guess for this video, it's just going to be more of a casual one, if my videos aren't casual enough already. Now, what I mean by that is, I kind of just want to maybe just make a video and just, maybe talk with you guys, just about some things, really. Nothing bad, per se, just, I guess just to, find some people to talk with and just, tell them about about my life and what's going on. So, yeah, I guess we'll just get into it. Okay. So, I guess to start off, my microphone, the new one that I got a while back ago, has been kind of having some weird issues where the left and the right channels were getting like swapped. They were getting inverted. So, let's say if the left side, if you're listening to this, it's outputting on the right side and vice versa. I guess the issue behind that may have something to do with me using my phone to record videos. Because, Blue Yeti microphones are typically used for computers, like actual PCs and laptops, and not really much for phones, even though you can still use a phone. And since I'm really using a phone, like I said, I don't really have like a whole lot of options when it comes to like, configuring the software and all that. Because, I have like limited access because phones are, a bit more limited on what you can do overall compared to a computer per se. I do have a computer and I also have a laptop, but the cameras on those, on my laptop, isn't really as good as the camera on my phone right there. So I guess I'm kind of just stuck with using my phone, for the foreseeable future until if or when I get like a better actual camera instead of just something just a for my cheap phone. But yeah, I found a solution. It's kind of like a weird solution because it doesn't like permanently fix it, but it does like fix it overall. But what I did was I just switched the position of the microphone, so it's actually backwards now. So it should be you should be able to hear this on the correct output now. If it doesn't, I'm going to be super upset. No, it should be, even if there's still like issues, I can probably fix it or something. It should be an easy fix though, because I can just invert the audio or something. So yeah. Okay, I'll just put my mic down there. But yeah, that's kind of an update on the microphone and all the issues. It's not really issues, but just stuff really that's been going on with it. I actually got this microphone for a pretty good discount from Micro Center. I think I might have told you guys about that earlier, and I was pretty fortunate enough to find it. Actually, the workers there, when I asked them on like what a good microphone is for like video recording for like phones, they actually didn't know that you could use a Blue Yeti microphone for your phones. I didn't know that either, actually, and I think a lot of people don't know that either. But yeah, I guess the more you know. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I guess another update that I have is so last weekend, last Saturday, which is like June 21st, I believe, because it's the 24th or 25th when I'm making this video. I went to a club, like a nightclub actually, which is kind of insane because I'm a very antisocial person and I don't really like, socializing a whole lot. But I decided to go because there was a furry event going on. People like myself and others, locally, or they may travel, quite a bit away, just to make it to this event. Yeah, and there was an event in Cincinnati. It's called Bullies. It's a pretty, it was a pretty good event. Like I said, I'm not a very social person, so it was like, no pun intended, but it was kind of like going into the lion's den. I'm joking, of course, but it was a lot for me, but it was good. I'm glad I went. I'll be honest though, I was actually thinking of not even going to the event because, not because of like, me being antisocial, but really the drive there, because I live like, an hour from, the city, and I'm not really, like, I'm like super anxious when I drive. I can do it. It's just that, driving into, a big city, with lots of people can, make me really anxious and all that. And I'm just worried I might get into an accident or something. But, yeah, I pulled through. I, put my foot down, or my paw down, and just said, hey, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna enjoy myself, and that's what happened. Although I did got a headache, sometime later on, which kind of bummed me out because I really did enjoy it. I met a lot of really cool and sweet people there. And I took some pictures, I had pictures taken of me. I've been trying to find those for the last couple of days, but I don't think they've been posted yet. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, like I said, I got a headache a bit early on because of like all the noise and chaos and all the other stuff, and it kind of made me a bit nauseous too. So unfortunately, I did leave a little bit earlier more than what I wanted, because if I wasn't sick or anything, I probably would have stayed there the whole night. But yeah, like I said, it was a really good event. I met a lot of really sweet people there, and I guess it did make me feel a bit more, welcomed in the community. And that's because there was another event, like a couple of months prior. It was at an arcade, actually, a little bit closer, which was fortunate, but that one was actually a little bit more, hard for me because I, didn't really knew any people there at the time, and to be honest, I still don't know a whole lot of people, but that one was a bit more rough for me because like I said, I didn't know anyone there, and, it was kind of, hard for me to socialize, because like I said, I'm kind of an introvert. Well, I'm not kind of an introvert, I'm very introverted. So, yeah, it was a bit hard for me to, go out, my social bubble, and just, mingle with people, but, that's long gone now, and, I'm glad I did. I'm gonna make it a practice of socializing, But yeah, like I said, the last couple of months I have been making a lot of progress socializing, getting out of my, social bubble, I guess, and, just meeting with people and all that. I've been making, lots of good progress. I didn't even know I'd actually make it this far, to be honest, but, like I said, I've, been having a lot of, like, really good people helping me out and getting out of my, my protection bubble or something. I don't know what you want to call it, but I've been getting involved a lot more, which is really good, I think, overall, because, we do need to socialize and, just, interact with people, and unfortunately, it can be pretty hard, for some people, for a lot of reasons, but all it takes is, just time and, maybe push or something, if that makes sense, where you're not, being forced, but you're kind of just, being nudged a little bit, But yeah. Also, by the way, since I'm doing like a lot of yapping, you're probably going to see a lot of like cuts from this video because, being completely honest, it's kind of hard to breathe in this thing. But it's all good. I will try my best to make it, a bit more soothing, if you will. So, yeah. Also, you may have noticed that my background is purple. There's no reason for it, really. I just thought it'd be a neat color. But speaking of that, actually, so I think I told you guys a while back ago that I got a new phone, and so I've been having like some issues, with my new phone. Not really like issues per se, but I can't get some things to work on my new phone compared to my old phone. And I'm saying that because the light that I have right there is only being worked on by my old phone. This one right here. You can see it's 11:23 right now. Oh, you can see the green light too. And I tried to get it to work on my new phone, but nothing seems to work for some reason. And it's been kind of doing that with like a couple of other apps, per se. And I realized I was missing a whole bunch of messages from like another app that I, use to like talk with people and all that I wasn't getting notifications on my new phone, but I was getting notifications on my old phone, so I'm not sure why it's doing that, but I don't know. Yeah, it can be like that sometimes, unfortunately. But I don't know, maybe I'll just have to like uninstall the apps on my old phone and see if some server or something, pushes notifications to my new phone, I don't know if that is like plausible or not. I mean, I'm a computer science graduate, but I still don't know that. So yeah, that was kind of an update with my old phone and all that. So yeah, pretty cool, I guess. Not cool, but just another mishap in life. So I guess another update that I want to give out is, I guess, the job search. So I applied to a help desk role. I'm not sure what that was. If you heard that. But yeah, like I said, I applied to like a help desk role, for a position that's like, it's a little bit far away, so I'm not sure if it's something, worth taking, to be honest. But I don't know, with the job market right now, it's kind of up in the air, really. But more on that. So last bit over a week ago now, I got called in for an interview at that place. It was early in the morning. I got up super early. I drove to the place, and they actually canceled it. And the reason why they canceled it was because I guess one of the interviewers or something, or one of the employers, was like busy with something. I don't know if what was going on, but they had to postpone the interview, which is, I don't know why they would do it, because I mean, I understood why they did it, but I was confused on why they didn't like call me, beforehand, because I drove all the way over there. It was just like 45 minutes, and they just told me that, hey, we have to postpone the interview. And like, why didn't you just call me? Like, why didn't you just send me a message? I mean, it would have saved me some time. It probably would have saved them some time as well. So I don't know why they did that. I was kind of speaking with my dad about that, and he seemed a bit irritated himself as well, because this is like a pretty big company, and them fumbling like that, not sending me a notification, or all the hoopla, and I don't know. What I do know is I did call them earlier today, and they say that I was still like in the recruitment process, so hopefully I can get like a call back from them sometime in the near future, and see where things go from there. Hopefully they'll actually give me the interview instead of like um, you know, making me drive all the way over there and just tell them like, hey, we can't do it today, sorry. So I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of the update with the whole job stuff, really. I did apply to another job like a couple of weeks ago, but that one was kind of not really in my field of work. I thought it was at first, but no, they wanted me to do some like other other like kind of work, really, like manufacturing stuff, which I have no problem with manufacturing because it is important and all that, but for someone like myself, it's not in my kind of work, my field of work, if that makes sense. Sorry about the cut, by the way. You know how it is. I may have to take like, a couple of breaks here and there because I do talk a lot. But yeah, I guess continuing on, the place that I originally applied for that was a bit closer was a manufacturing job. And like I said, I have nothing against manufacturing because it is, a very important field of work that unfortunately most people don't, understand. But, it will take like a lot of my time away finding, my field of work that I want to get into. So I kind of just backed away from that one, even though they did offer me the position. It just wasn't, I didn't feel like it was right for me. But actually there was another reason why I backed out of that job, and I guess this is what kind of actually pushed me a little bit. But I was looking at some reviews for the other, for that closer job, and and I heard there were like some mixed reviews about the place, like the insurance being really high, and working overtime without like time and a half, which is something in the U.S. that you don't need to worry about if you live outside the U.S. But another thing which is like really got me out of it was the pay itself. So the job itself paid like $17 an hour, which is, I guess it's not too bad, I guess. But I was looking at some reviews, like I said, and there were people like reviews for the same position, and the people from like a couple of years ago, like 2.5 or 3 years ago, were getting paid the exact same amount, $17 an hour. So yeah, if you get where I'm going, you're basically just doing like the same amount of work for less pay overall because of inflation and stuff. So I personally didn't think it was for me. Honestly, I'd rather get paid for my work, like paid adequately, if that makes sense. So yeah, like I said, I just backed out of that place pretty quick after learning that. But I guess since then I'm still like applying for jobs, that are much closer, because I really don't want to drive like an hour to the place, to some workplace, and an hour back home, especially with like all the traffic too, because it just takes a lot of time, of your day, even if like there's good benefits and all that. I feel like it can still be a drag sometimes. I don't know, some people can handle it. I personally can't handle it. I would like something a bit more closer to home, I know it's a bit more petty, I guess, but I don't know. Okay, so I guess maybe the last thing I want to talk about is Anthrocon. So I am actually going to Anthrocon this year. It's actually my first time going to Anthrocon, and it's actually my first time going to a convention overall. So it's going to be a lot for me, but I think I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm pretty excited for it. I actually didn't even know it was like so close. By the way, I thought it wasn't going to be like like for another couple of weeks. But no, it apparently starts next week. Like I said, I'm recording this the 24th or 5th of June, so yeah, it's like right around the corner. So, I don't know how many of you are going to Anthrocon this year or AC, but if you are, and if you happen to see me, you're more than welcome to come up and say hi to me. We can talk, we can chat. We can even get pics together if you like. I'm like very easy to talk to, by the way. People call me like very chill, but I think that's really because I kind of let people do the talking. I know it seems kind of weird because I'm making a video just talking, and stuff like that, but I usually like let people do the talking because, like I said, I'm like very antisocial. But I also like learning about people as well, learning about their hobbies and pastimes and all that stuff, especially with how they became a furry, because it's definitely like a more popular community, but still kind of like that niche area that some people don't really understand. I mean, I still don't understand like a whole lot of it sometimes. But I do know there are like some people who have been in it for like so many years, since they were a little kid, that fully embraced it, unlike me, who only embraced it for a couple of months now or so. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm also, like I said, I'm also pretty nervous because this is my first time going to a convention, so I'm, no pun intended, but I'm kind of going into the lion's den. But yeah, I have my stuff prepared. I have my ticket. I haven't packed yet because it's still going to be like a week away, but I'll probably do that sometime over the weekend or so, or like early next week, because I'm going to leave like the day before. Fortunately, since I do live in Ohio, the travel to Pittsburgh, which is the city where it's located, is like a couple of hours at most, which is like really nice because some people travel like from California, even from like other parts of the world, just to come here, come to AC, which I really commend them, because that is a lot of money. For like a furry, really just a giant furry meetup overall. But yeah, I guess that's kind of the update with AC. Like I said, if you happen to see me there, you're more than welcome to get a picture of me, and talk and all that stuff. I'm not going with anyone. I'm kind of just going by myself. So, yeah, I'm probably just going to be walking around, looking like a dummy or something. I'm kidding, of course. I am going to meet some people there though that I've met online, so it'll be fun. I think. I hope it'll be fun, because I did spend quite a bit on like the room and travel and all that. But yeah, just something to try out, I wanted to go to Anthro, Ohio, actually, which was like, I think that was like in late April or something, a couple of months ago now. But that was the time when I like fully embraced myself of being a furry, so there wasn't really like a whole lot of time for me to prepare. And even then, the job that I was at, I wasn't able to go anyway, because I think that also took place over Mother's Day, so, which is like in retail it's a blackout week, so which means you can't really apply for like off time, essentially, or PTO or paid time off. So yeah, that point was kind of going out the window pretty fast, but it's all good though. I can probably go next year. But yeah, I guess that's really all I wanted to talk about, I guess. Just about some stuff about myself, about my life, and some updates about that. If you have like any questions or like any comments you want to give, in the comment section, you're always more than welcome, to leave anything you'd like. because I will read them, and most of the time I respond to them. Sometimes I may not respond to something because I may end up missing it, so. But yeah, I guess that's one I wanted to give out. I am planning to make a couple of videos later this week or so. Definitely something before I go on the trip, because I'm obviously going to, be busy for that time, so. Okay, guys. Cool. Alright, guys. I'll probably just see you around. I'll probably see you sometime later on tomorrow, because I'll be definitely on tomorrow, so. Okay, guys. I hope you guys have a good night. Bye. Take care and good night. Bye-bye.